Are you ready, Jeff, for some wrestling?
I am ready.
Are you ready for some wrestling? Monday Night Wrestling.
That's not really...
Crack open a beer.
not-
Crack open a cold one. Get some pizza pockets.
That does sound pretty attractive. I was going to say, it's not really how wrestling goes, but
Cold
when you
one.
describe it that way.
A cold one. Or maybe an energy drink. I don't know. What do you drink when you watch wrestling, Jeff?
Sometimes I'll have like a glass of water.
Yeah,
You know,
that's
stay
good.
hydrated.
It's important to stay
Yeah.
hydrated.
So this is a
They'll tell
WWE SmackDown vs. Raw 2010.
They'll tell you that at the THQ training facility.
That's right.
Drink lots of water.
The game, well, yeah, straight up. This game's out this week, and this is how it opens. It just opens with this, goes right into the action here of kind of teaching you how to do stuff, which is cool.
Whoa!
It's almost like the EA Sports games. You know how they would load you into that weird virtual hologram dome and just let you slam dunk over and over again.
Yeah, it was the live games did that for a few years. I don't know if they still do that.
Yeah, I don't think they do either. But this kind of does that. It just gets you right into moving around and doing stuff and showing you some of the stuff about how the game plays.
Now, has stuff changed? Has the basic handling changed enough from last year's SmackDown that this is really like a big necessity, or
Not necessarily. I will say that this game feels a lot different than last year's game.
I mean, Aught 9?
Yeah. But from a basic control standpoint, I mean, it's not too far off from that. You know, the right stick's going to be used for your grapples and that sort of stuff. And Randy Orton just got hit in the head. Let's do that. Let's do that again. So I just hit up on the right analog stick while he's kind of getting up from that position.
It really
and he'll
doesn't
do that.
seem like much of a wrestling move. He just punched that guy in the head.
That's a pretty good wrestling move.
That's not really a wrestling move. That's a punching that guy in the head move.
Well, it's pretty
There's
good.
nothing. He's not going off the top rope. There's no axe handle.
All right, fair enough. Before we get all into some of the other modes and stuff, let's just. I'm going to get into a match and do some actual wrestling. How about?
All right, sure.
So you see, they've got statistics in each character. There's little icons below there show some different attributes that a specific character has, like hammer throw and he can shoot fire.
Swords and shields.
No, it's
dudes.
each one of those is like a specific kind of
fist explodes.
type of move, and then it shows you kind of how to do his signature or special moves. If I'm facing a groggy opponent when my meter is full, I can do the attitude adjustment. And if I go down to his lower body when he is prone, I can bust out the STF.
It's not a super flattering face on virtual John Cena there.
He looks, he's focused. He's focused, right?
I'm not getting focused out of that.
All right,
sure.
so, of course, with any wrestling game, the rosters are not completely up to date. Jeff Hardy no longer representing WWE. JBL has retired. Jack Swagger is there. Trey Khali, definitely there. Gold Dust. Festus, of course, Festus. CM Punk, or Christian. Let's say Chris Jericho, which, as you see there, he's a champion, has the belt next to him.
Short hair. What happened to his long, flowing locks?
Yeah, Chris Jericho hasn't had long hair in a long time.
Yeah.
Which, to me, makes him the best wrestler in the world.
Uh-huh.
Because he doesn't look like he fell out of, like, a 80s metal show.
Sure.
Yeah. He's moved on.
He's still hanging on to the frosting, but
Oh yeah, for sure. So, some things never die, right? That's all right. Let's Mr. Kennedy no longer down.
Oh, is he no longer in the
No. Mike Knox.
thing? Lots of divas.
Yes, that's right. There are a lot of divas. I think who's Jericho been wrestling lately? I think it's been like Triple H and stuff like that. Let's see.
Was that really how Jeff Hardy was looking before they kicked him out?
Yeah, kind of. They didn't
crazy,
actually kick him out. He
crazy face paint and everything.
Kind of left of his own volition to go get arrested. It takes him a lot of time.
Sure.
Let's wrestle MVP. How about that? Let's find MVP here. A lot of locked characters, looks like. There's a lot of stuff you got to do to get dudes.
I like the guy's bodysuit. I'm into it.
All right, so we'll do that, and we'll put MVP's title on the line. Chris Jericho's title not on the line, but the U.S. Championship. This will be a U.S. No, you know what? Let's not do that because I'm worried that it might not show Jericho's belt if we do that, because Jericho's belt is pretty interesting. They've added belts to the game that are not real belts, which is pretty crazy, but kind of cool.
So you can choose where you're playing this.
This will be at Raw. This will be at Raw. And let's do it.
Is that a real building? Is there really a building somewhere with a giant Raw logo on it?
Absolutely. It's the hospital in Stamford, Connecticut. So he is the WCW Classic World Champion.
Okay.
Which is super crazy, but totally awesome that there's a WCW belt in this game.
Yeah, why is that? So that doesn't exist, or is that a real belt?
I mean, that belt at some point was a real belt. I'm sure it was like at the end of WCW, or actually they did have a WCW belt in WWE for a while, and I believe it just became one of the 2 championship belts that they currently have, which they've redesigned and done different stuff with. But he just straight up has a WCW belt.
Billboards for Ukes and the Legends of WrestleMania up there.
Yeah.
This is not the most energetic walk-in there.
That is absolutely accurate. That is not like the game being untrue to life. That is precisely how Chris Jericho does his thing.
I maintain my statements.
Yeah. But that's deliberate.
Yeah.
That is deliberate. So. I don't really like MVP. I think it's because his catchphrase was stolen from rap. He says, "Ballin'," like he was Jim Jones, but he's not Jim Jones. You know what I'm saying, brother?
I think asking wrestling to be original about anything is maybe pretty lofty. I mean,
you're not
wrestling
wrong.
culture is inherently reactive to what's going on in greater pop culture, but it's also behind by about 3 years.
I'll give you that. Yeah, absolutely. Because I don't even think Jim Jones has said ballin'.
I don't even know who Jim Jones is.
Well, there you go. He was part of the Dipset.
Oh.
So you see that they have done away with a lot of the HUD elements. And, I get a ring under my character that kind of shows momentum building and that sort of stuff.
But no life bars at the top of the screen.
Yeah.
Or momentum bars.
And see, I have an S there, which means I've built up a signature move, which if I get him groggy here and hit it, I can do that. And then,
he's on the ropes, though. He's on the ropes.
And that'll activate my finisher. Yeah, he actually is on the ropes.
He's on the ropes.
So I'm
Get him off the ropes.
Try and set him up for the... Oh, actually, you know what? If I can keep him down long enough... Oh, no. So I can set him up for the Walls of Jericho, but instead we will pick him up here and... Oh, did I lose my... Oh, no, I still have it. Okay.
Oh, no.
Oh! Well, reversal. And I no longer have a finisher state.
So, Jeff, you were saying earlier that this has changed significantly. How so? From a mechanical...
Well, they've gone to like this one-button reversal system with the right trigger. And it's a lot of control differences and stuff like that. In addition to stuff like the HUD.
But as far as
like it feels like a wrestling game. It is paced like a wrestling game.
Okay.
And there's still some stuff in there like playing this earlier. I hit 3 finishers and still did not get the pin. Stuff like that. Well,
the turnbuckle pad's coming off.
Oh, what are you doing? I'm gonna wave my hand around near this turnbuckle for a little bit. What's he?
He doesn't want any part of me.
What's he doing? Let's see a count out. I want to see a ring count out. 'Cause that never happens in an actual wrestling event.
It does happen here and there. It does happen. So we're gonna fling him into the exposed turnbuckle. And give him a little bit of this. How about that? Huh?
I felt like you could have made better use of that exposed turnbuckle.
Well, it's still exposed, so.
Oh, he did that.
So I got him with that.
Crapped up on the.
And
Whoa.
then there you go, finisher. Wham.
So is that stuff new?
That is, yes.
Getting all dramatic.
Yeah.
See the commentators
And
there.
here, oh,
No one at the Spanish language commentary table.
yeah.
Unmanned for this match.
Oh. So there you go. You know, in most television matches, I hit that finisher, the match would be over. But here we are still wrestling.
So this game does not address your issue with wrestling games, which is that they treat wrestling like a real sport and not like a performance.
Yeah, well, from a gameplay perspective, yes. But one of the new things with this year's game is there's a story editor. So you can actually write your own storylines and insert characters into them in different ways and do all kinds of wild stuff with that, which is pretty awesome. And we'll show some of that stuff. I actually haven't tried too much of it yet, but seeing kind of what's been created with it, you know, it's not going to go add wrestler speech to it or anything like that, but you can write your own dialogue for wrestlers and have your own little play sessions. You can outright the actual writers, for example.
Take that, Freddie Prinze.
That's right.
I see fantastic potential for shenanigans with that.
Absolutely, I know, because you can, you can still create your own wrestlers and your own finishers and all sorts of stuff. So there's all kinds of weird trouble you can get up to using the story editor. And you can actually take a lot of that stuff, the finishers, the created wrestlers and stuff, you can actually share them online now. They upload to a kind of a centralized repository where people can download them and rate them and do all sorts of stuff. So theoretically, you can make your own invasion angle centered around the WCW Classic belt, I assume. And
I want someone to recreate the story of Final Fight in this game.
okay.
For whatever reason, it's the first thing. I think that's the first thing that came to my mind because making a version of Metro City Mayor Mike Hager is always the first thing that comes to my mind whenever I see a wrestling create a character mode.
No, yeah, that's...
Because he was a wrestler.
He was, yeah.
So he's got the background. A couple of the people in the audience look kind of birth defecty.
Huh. You know, when I was at THQ, they took pictures of people that were there for the event to maybe put them in the crowd.
Yeah. So
I had that weird moment of like, do I really want to? And then I said, all right, fine, and went ahead and did it. But
it's kind of just a low sloping forehead going on with a few of these guys.
All right, so we're built back up to signature here.
The wrestlers look all right, though.
Yeah, they do. The wrestler models look good this year. Okay.
Still seem to be some occasional collision issues.
Yeah, it's, the animation when you get two of these models together, has never been awesome.
It's got moments where
they get better
it's
all the time.
Still just like little negotiating, like the walking around and.
That'll do some damage. That one rocked him.
Ugh.
Oh. And again the feet fly.
And then let's hit that again.
Just do
Wham.
second finishing move.
This could do
And there will be run-ins and stuff. You can actually set kind of who your wrestlers, allies, or any of the wrestlers on the roster. You can set allies and enemies and kind of how intense they are on one side or the other. So I actually was playing this exact matchup earlier, and Rey Mysterio ran down and just started messing with me, which made it way harder to win the match. And I was just like, out of nowhere, like, what?
Oh no, Rey
Why
Mysterio's
would you-
here to mess you up.
Why would you do that, Rey Mysterio?
You need to give an interview afterwards, letting you know.
No. Unfortunately, there was no interview after the match.
All right, so that's some basic wrestling.
Uh-huh.
Let's see some of the crazy modes that.
All right. And they throw the little end of show copyright up there in the corner. Little television touches. Television touches.
That's not bad. Brought to you by Quickies. Great fast food.
I think that might be placeholder.
Yes, because we're playing on not retail here.
Yeah. So then it just drops us back here, and we can give it to Randy Orton a couple times here.
Does it always default to these two at the training facility?
Yep. But we can
Are
get
those kind of like the two guys right now? Randy Orton and...
They're kind of always the two guys.
Yeah, I guess.
If you want to get technical about it.
Trot out Undertaker and Triple H.
Well, Undertaker's on SmackDown, so as far as I'm concerned, he might as well not exist. I don't know. I don't want to watch SmackDown. I don't really watch Raw much anymore either. So, okay, let's jump into a created story just to see kind of what the capabilities are. And so these are some of the ones that it comes with, and we'll play the first bit of this Captain Extreme story, which takes place on ECW, which, despite not being included in the name of the game this year, still exists. Is still a thing. So because, people are writing this dialogue, themselves when you're creating the story, now it becomes text-based.
So it's like an old 16-bit RPG.
Kind of, sort of. Yeah.
With the little portraits down below.
But they say brother a lot more.
So wait, hold on. If you don't press A here,
yep.
Do we get to watch Jack Swagger pantomime his fake talking forever?
Forever. I'm going to hit it.
Just give it another.
Okay. No, I'm gonna go. All right, there.
Fresh line of dialogue.
Yeah. So here he is. He's calling out Hornswoggle.
What is that?
That's the what's the technical term? Little person?
He looks pretty normal size.
No, but see, that's exactly. So this is actually loosely based on something that actually happened, where Jack Swagger was in the ring calling somebody out, and Christian came instead, and it was when he was returning to the WWE for the first time. So
he's Canadian, isn't he?
he is. A lot of wrestlers are Canadian.
Yeah.
Edge, he's Canadian.
Edge is also Christian Edge. They were a tag team.
That's right.
Canadian
That's
tag
right.
team for a while.
Chris Jericho, he's Canadian.
Yeah, that figures.
So this is actually a line of dialogue that was actually from. They did this part on television, sort of, but it ends up going slightly differently here. Shane McMahon also no longer with the WWE.
What?
Shane McMahon is well, I guess he's living out the rest of his time, but I guess it was the first of the year he is leaving the company.
Huh. What's a McMahon do that doesn't work in wrestling?
Well, Vince McMahon's wife is like running for Senate or something.
Huh.
She left the company to go do that.
What? Hey, you guys.
No, we're still talking.
What's going on there?
So you get those moments, which they call them moments here, and then we proceed to the next moment by playing as Christian and winning the match. So,
So to see the next bit of the story, you gotta win this round.
right. So you're building up matches and setting win conditions and all that sort of stuff, and then in between you're getting to write your own dialogue and all that.
Can you also determine, like you're saying with the run-in stuff, can you predetermine, like, if a... Well, yeah, let's go look at some of the stuff.
Let me hit Jack Swagger a few more times here, and then we'll...
He looks like he's giving you the business.
Well, you...
Yeah.
Give you the business.
I think I am getting the business right now. Yeah! That's what's up. Yes!
Just kick the ref a few times.
Talk about a haymaker.
Can the ref go down?
I believe so. I have accidentally hit him a few times in the the heat of battle, and I haven't gotten disqualified or anything. But
I like the skin reddening from where people are getting slapped.
Looks good.
It looks nice.
You know, as far as I'm concerned, Christian should be the biggest thing going in terms of wrestling.
Yeah, why is that?
Because he's one of the few guys that they've got, him and Chris Jericho as well, that can talk into a microphone in a believable fashion.
Oh, you hit that ref.
That's right.
Invisible ref.
Ghost ref.
All right. Enough of this.
All right. All right, so we'll quit out and go into the editor and see what that stuff looks like.
Yeah.
That's one of the things I haven't checked out yet. I'm hoping, I have high hopes for it. If you can do something where a wrestler is backstage and gets hit by someone driving a car and then build up about 6 weeks worth of dialogue of people trying to figure out who was driving the car, then they have succeeded. As far as I'm concerned.
Okay, I think you have lofty hopes for this then. I say they are nigh unobtainable.
Of course, there's still the Road to WrestleMania mode and actual career mode and that sort of stuff.
What's the difference between Road to WrestleMania and career mode?
I believe Road to WrestleMania is scripted based on specific characters. At least that's how it was last year. And career mode is probably more of a you use whoever you want.
Oh, and you can use your creative character for that stuff.
Yeah.
So how many superstars can you find in SmackDown versus Raw 2010?
A lot. I don't know.
All right, great.
There's a bunch. Okay, so create a story. So we can go to any of these show dates, and it's kind of weird that this is all based on like a real calendar or something like that. But hey, so let's have it start on Raw. Let's edit what happens at Raw. All right, we will add a moment. It will be a scene. We'll set up a scene.
Choose an animation.
Location. All right.
Yeah, location.
Location.
First.
Backstage.
Backstage.
Parking lot. Cast. Okay, yeah, sure. Randy Orton, Ted DiBiase. Let's stick with those guys.
You can't just call him fucking Ted DiBiase, man. That's not okay.
Car.
That's his car explodes.
Rundown.
Oh.
Okay, so I guess it kind of. So there you go, dude.
Wow.
Oh, that's awesome. So, I can specify who gets hit. I want Jim Ross to get hit.
Let's see it.
Is that when does that refresh? Is it the next time it loops? All right, so what else can we do here? Change facial expressions. Default. He's a default. And just straight up. What happened on Raw this week? Jim Ross got hit with a car.
Can we view that?
Did it? I do want to. All right, we're gonna edit that because I want to make sure it's.
Jim Ross. Accept.
Okay, here we go. I just wasn't hitting accept before. It's good old
Jim
JR.
Ross.
He's doing his thing.
Oh,
crap.
no!
Who would run down Jim Ross with a car? We have to get to the bottom of this. So we're going to start a 6-week tournament, and the winner gets to face whoever drove the car. Oh, all right, what other
All right, great.
whatever. What other things can we do to Jim Ross?
Can we have a cage
Car explodes.
drop down on him?
Car
in the middle of the parking lot?
explodes. I like it just resets to Jeff Hardy every time. Like,
Check out all the awful things that are going to happen to Jeff Hardy.
This is why you don't leave, Jeff. Money found. What is union? Plotting. Interview.
Cage lower.
Can you do cage lower backstage?
It seems to suggest that you can.
Okay.
Oh, no, okay, no, it takes
so
you.
some of it will force the...
I was going to say, it'd be awesome if a cage just dropped down on a dude.
Yeah.
Pure black
room. Pure white room, because I just do like weird Matrix stuff. Yep. That's super creepy.
It's the shine of the lights, dude. You can't see the crowd. It's just you two up there on the stage.
Encounter the couch. Oh, let's see what title theft looks like. The Champion of Champions belt.
Batista comes out. He's all, I got this belt. Jericho's all, that's a nice belt. You'll let me hold that.
He's considering what he has to say. Like, I don't know if I want to do that.
Like, no,
he says,
the
well,
belt.
check that out.
I stole your belt. And he's like, wait.
Hey, that's my belt.
Come back with my belt.
My belt!
That's exactly what Batista sounds like.
Yeah. Promo. Old school pose. I think I have a feeling what this is going to look like. Oh, all right.
That guy's all habba.
So yeah, you can set this up, and then you can go into and you can add dialogue. So if they're out here, setting up the next scene and that sort of stuff. So we can add another moment that is a match. All right, so match type, normal match, competitors. Got these guys, no managers, match conditions. So you can set a run-in during the match if you want to have that be part of your story. You can have a...
But wait. You said...
Jericho runs in to save Jericho. So this is part of the whole Ghost Jericho storyline that they did. And then to even the odds, obviously,
Jericho.
These sorted by... Okay, I want C. Obviously, it would be Jericho.
But who is he running in for?
Well, he's running in to save... Chris Jericho runs in to save Chris Jericho, but then Chris Jericho shows up to even the odds against Chris Jericho and Chris Jericho with John Cena.
But then there's also Chris Jericho that's helping out the first Chris
That's
Jericho.
what I'm saying, yeah.
But we're not even talking about the Chris Jericho that's in the ring.
No, God, no.
We were talking about 3 extracurricular.
No. There are 3 total. There's 1 curricular Chris Jericho.
That's not what it said.
Well, we'll go back and look. Now, see, it's a normal match between Jericho and John Cena.
Okay, so we got 1 Jericho
match
there.
conditions.
We've got run-in.
Okay, so we got a run-in.
And then he's got
No, see, the run-in's ally is which of the 2 actual competitors.
Okay, that's where I was getting
So the
confused.
run-in is allied
I was
with
thinking
Chris Jericho.
maybe the run-in had a backup dude.
No.
Okay. So 2 maximum run-ins per match.
Right.
Okay. And in this case, 3 Chris Jerichos. Well, God damn it, I want to see this now.
All right.
I want to watch them fight over the right to know who ran down Jim Ross in cold blood.
Well, we got rid of the whole Jim Ross in cold blood thing. That's not even there anymore.
Well, it's inferred.
All right. Preview. Save story. Save it over the top of that thing.
You know, this thing's going to support like the chat pad.
Yeah, everything does.
Make it a lot easier to punch in your awesome wrestling.
They should just make it so if you hit Y, it automatically writes out brother.
It's a shortcut button for that.
Yeah. Not that wrestlers say brother all that much anymore, but maybe they should.
So these guys come out here and do their promo.
That's right. They're out here just flexing for a little bit.
And then the match starts, and there's nothing to do with them.
Yeah, exactly.
This is airtight storytelling already.
This is pretty much how it goes. This is, this kind of disconnected storytelling is really not too far off from
how things are going down these days.
Yeah. Oh, so apparently I didn't assign a player to this match. So
So we just get to sit back and watch the action.
yeah. So I'd say, yeah, I mean, the story editor seems like it'll fix kind of a lot of the problems that I feel like a lot of wrestling games have, is that they feel so static.
Yeah.
They've come a long way with the Road to WrestleMania stuff in terms of, presenting something that felt like a real story and having like that stuff be meaningful. But, at the end of the day, there was only like 8 of those or something in last year's game. So with a story editor, you'll be able to do all kinds of crazy stuff. So I did not see we'll have to see if it's in there. I did not see a guy comes out of crowd and turns out to be Razor Ramon, but they don't call him Razor Ramon.
I'm pretty sure they wouldn't
Yeah.
spell that out. Hey, I was surprised that it had the car run down in the parking lot scene.
I honestly did not know whether or not it would have the car rundown thing in there, but knowing that if I was making this mode, that would be the very first thing I would put in. I was like, well, if we're going to let people make up their own stories, they have to be able to run each other over with cars. It's like, you're absolutely right. All right, let's get started. Check out this car model I got. Like that, yeah. And it's cool that they have exploding car, but they should have you get in car and it explodes, which is what they did to Vince McMahon a while back.
Chris Jericho's got kind of a Cliff Bleszinski thing going on.
Yeah, kind of. I'd say virtual Chris Jericho has it more than real life Chris Jericho.
Absolutely. Still calling him Y2J, huh?
Not so much.
Okay.
I guess they do.
I mean, his intro video is all like computer screen crashing, and
right.
That person there has a Y2J. That fake person.
I guess they do still.
Lens flare.
They do still call him that fair enough for that to be relevant.
Can we skip this?
You are right. It does.
Look an awful lot
I'm
like.
just gonna pull out his chainsaw gun and
partially the hair. That's some very.
There's the bell, and here we go. The first
Oh,
competitor.
see how the computer fights itself. I'm gonna see the run in right now.
I don't think we can specify when the run-in happens.
And now the veteran Jericho building momentum.
The other thing is, I'll say that commentary doesn't seem great, but it's
I haven't
wrestling commentary
noticed any at all.
Wrestling commentary has always been pretty dodgy.
Yeah, the problem is that in the games they always.
Oh
yes!
my God!
Chris Jericho's here. It's gonna help Chris Jericho. Or maybe he's here. He's having some trouble getting to the ring.
He might not run in and break up the match. I mean, it's not a.
Episodic television show in history. This is Monday Night Raw.
So yeah, Michael Cole, just like real life, will consistently.
Oh
defeat...
no!
Oh, Chris Jericho's out here to even the odds.
I want to. Can we make the camera point to the other Chris Jerichos?
Nope.
See what they're doing?
Nope.
They're just hanging out. There's one Chris Jericho at the top.
They're waiting. They're waiting. If anything goes rotten.
You should be able to tell I define the trigger for when your run-ins happen. It's not like
Well, I think you should be able to, like,
in a regular wrestling match. That
Oh,
no! Chris Jericho on Chris Jericho violence in the background there.
Code breaker.
It's like that one MK2 level.
Hitting his finisher outside the ring. That's vicious. That's vicious, dog. Oh no!
Now it's spilled into the ring.
So unpredictable. I'm having a hard time figuring out
But now I don't know which Chris
you-
Jericho is on whose team.
a little showboating going on here. And this playing a
Did that Chris Jericho take off? Yeah, it was Phil.
No, he's over. He's over
He's
there
over
still.
there still. They're both finisher ready though.
That's right. They're ready to go.
They came in locked and loaded, all pumped up.
an explosive suplex.
So that's the problem with video game wrestling commentary, is that they always comment on the actual action in the ring.
Yeah.
And that is never what happens during a broadcast.
You're totally right. Like the way wrestling commentary works now is it's always people talking about the next pay-per-view. Like it is all.
Yeah.
It is like commentary has become one big commercial for the next
or just
$40
or
thing
just
they
the
want
story,
you to buy. Or the story, right?
Or
exactly.
character like someone saying, "This guy is awesome. I don't know what everyone's problem is with this guy."
Yeah.
So I'm agreeing with the heel for this match.
They don't necessarily. The good announcer, bad announcer thing doesn't happen as much anymore as maybe it should.
Yeah.
That is the Jerry Lawler was doing it for a while, but he is no Bobby the Brain Heenan when it comes to that stuff.
Yeah.
He's still the
But even not
still the greatest.
Still, like commenting on the characters, not on necessarily the specifics of the match.
Right, exactly. It's never like he kicked him because you're watching it. You know that he kicked him.
Mm-hmm. No one's listening on the radio to a WWE show.
Maybe they should look into that. Radio is booming right now. It's a real big business, and they should get
AM
into
radio.
it. So,
Future.
all right, how much more AI, Chris Jericho, John Cena do you want to watch?
I'm just bummed that I think the other Chris Jericho took off.
Yeah, they
We're down to
don't stay out there forever.
One extra Chris Jericho.
Oh,
He's trying to get his head between the ropes.
yeah. Oh, what? Chris Jericho threatening to get involved in this match. Good animations when guys are hitting the mat like that, bouncing up real high. Looks good.
What's he saying?
You know, he's saying that all the things that wrestlers say when they're in the ring and you can't hear them. They're like, rhubarb, 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 rhubarb. I'm going to get you. I was reading it was someone had met Triple H and asked him what it was he said when he got up on the ring apron when he's kind of just running his mouth and pointing at people.
Yeah.
Like, what do you say when you get up there? And he didn't know the answer. Like, he didn't have like a defined answer for that.
So it's
He
not
was
even
just like, something.
saying something.
So it's like,
Maybe it's just like racial epithets the entire time. No one can hear.
no. So here you go.
It's-
Signature move. Bam.
All right, let's stop watching this fake match.
Wait.
This doubly fake match.
He is straight up like finisher ready. We got to see if he's gonna hit it. There we go. Got all those finishers stored up. Man, I didn't realize you could store up that many. That's
John Cena looking a little Frankensteinian in this.
John Cena's a big dude.
Yeah, I've seen in the face, in the grill, all
Yeah.
up in his grill piece. Well,
So-
I have to say,
so here's our amazing story.
our story creation stuff.
Santino Marella talked for a bit, and then John Cena beat up a bunch of Chris Jerichos, which look for that on
So
television.
that is a sign of just the kind of off-the-cuff shenanigans that you can create. Imagine if you
actually spent some time. I mean, it definitely seems like the building blocks are in place for you to do some really crazy stuff, and they've provided enough sharing tools to let you get that stuff out there and say, I thought it would be cool if Jim Ross got run over by a car.
I want to see a storyline that's nothing but that. So it'd be match, and then someone gets hit by a car, and then match, and then someone else gets hit by a car.
Oh, all right, we're gonna go buy a copy of this game.
Great, now
that we
I have
can-
to
so that we can
buy-
get it on retail servers, so that we can do that and then upload it for the folks at home to try out our awesome car crash story. And at the end, you're gonna find out who was driving the car.
Someone is going
Or
around.
actually, you know what? You won't. The angle will just get dropped in favor of something else because someone got injured or someone left the company. Just like all the other good long-term storylines in the WWE.
There you go. SmackDown 2010 out this week. Catch it,
Yeah.
brother.